the Canadian Context, number 15. I'm joined by my host, Abigail, and of course myself, Dylan. And today we're going to be talking about education.
Yay. We've all gone to school at some point in our lives, and I'm sure we can all agree, or most of us can agree, we're a little bit disappointed with the system,
So
especially in
both
high
of
school.
oh,
Sorry.
the both of us have we've long graduated to high school, and we're probably mostly going to be talking about high school, seeing as that's kind of where most of the complaints come from. Although some of it will be in the elementary system. Anyways, we think that or at least I should say, I think that it's not horrendous, but it's very flawed in many ways. It's very much, teacher based, and if your teacher's good, then you're going to have a good time. But if you're not, if the teacher's bad or, struggles with, you know, English or whatever, then you're just in for a wild ride.
Yeah, you're right. It really is teacher based. I've had
Mm-hmm.
some good teachers. Actually, I'd say most of my teachers have been pretty good. So I got
Mm-hmm.
lucky, but I do know people who've had, the mean teacher, and it just kind of sucks all the motivation out of you.
Mm-hmm.
It's not fun going to school just to get yelled at or just have to follow all these strict rules that don't always make sense.
Mm-hmm.
So, actually, it's good we're talking about this because we have different perspectives. I went to French Catholic school as a kid, and then I went to an English Catholic high school, and you're a public school kid. So,
Yes.
we, we can share insights from every type of school.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I am pretty disappointed with high school because, elementary school is where you learn the basics of reading, writing, math, science. You learn common knowledge basically. But when you go to high school, I feel like a lot of it they're just repeating the same stuff every single year.
Yep.
And
That's how it was for me too. Yep.
yeah, it's the same stuff. So I just feel like at that point when you're, you know, 14 years old, you should start learning life skills because there's people my age, our age, that can't cook. They don't know how to do laundry. They don't know how to cut the grass. Things like that. They don't know the basics. There's still people out there who don't know how to write,
Yeah.
but um I think high school should they have cooking classes and stuff, but that's like gourmet cooking. I think they should have just, basic skills classes where you learn basic cooking, basic
Mm-hmm.
cleaning, and I also think they should do like a personal finance class where you
Mm-hmm.
learn how to do taxes, manage credit cards, budget, how to buy a house, right?
I think the reason why they're not doing this is because they're like, how are we gonna make this into how long is the semester? Is it 4 months?
Is
Five
what?
months? How long is the semester? It's 5 months, right?
5 months.
So they're like, how are we gonna put this in a 5 month class? Because like personal finance, it probably could be taught in less than 5 months.
Yeah, well, in grade 11, I did the mixed math,
Mm-hmm.
and they had a personal finance unit. It lasted 2 weeks.
Yep.
And I love that unit. It was the one we started with, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I love this class. And
Yep.
I had to budget my whole life. She gave us, so she said, pick a job that you would want and find the average salary. And then based on that salary, go through the internet, see what car you can afford and what house you can afford, including all of the insurance, utilities, taxes, everything, and see if I can afford it, how much I'd have left. That
Mm-hmm.
was wonderful. But then we jumped into I don't know, algebra, things like that I don't even remember I honestly it's a blur, as you can tell. I remember the personal
Mm-hmm.
finance. I don't remember anything else.
That's because you enjoyed it.
Yeah, maybe.
But I think that's probably the main reason is just like how do we make this a 5 month course or whatever. But I think you could just do like a general class where you do kind of all the above, like personal financing, how to cook, basic stuff, like you know
Mm-hmm.
that could be put into just one big class, and then like
Yeah,
or
just
maybe
like a
two. I would
basic
say two.
skills
Yeah.
class. Yeah. Oh, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah. Well, they have civics and careers, which I also found to be very useful classes. And if you
Hmm.
are not in grade 10 yet in Ontario, I recommend that you take civics and careers in person and not online because it changed my life. In careers, they teach you how to apply for a job, how to make a resume, how to write a cover letter, what jobs would suit you best. Like it was amazing. And then civics, it taught you all about politics, and we ran a student vote, which I learned so much. And so for that instance, civics and careers, they take a half semester each, so they could do something like that, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was amazing.
Hmm.
I learned so much, and they need more classes like that because even a lot of the electives aren't useful.
No. Which I think electives, they're supposed to be like extra, not like extracurricular. Well, it is extracurricular, is it not?
No,
Considered
not really.
extracurricular? No, I don't know, but like I think that should be a mandatory class, like this, what like general life skills, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But going back to teachers though, like it really like we've had like at my high school we had like most of the teachers were all right, but there was like the bad ones were like they were really bad. Um, there's one teacher, I won't name names. I don't even remember their names, anyways. But there was one teacher that was allergic to deodorant, and of course, her classroom was on the third floor where all the heat rises, so it is freaking sweaty in there,
Oh
and
my
it
gosh.
stinks. Yeah, it stinks.
Oh, they shouldn't have been a teacher.
No, they shouldn't have been.
Wow.
And my math teacher throughout most of high school was an Asian immigrant, and he could speak English, but not very well, and it was hard to
Mm-hmm.
understand. So we kind of just had to teach ourselves in that
Yeah,
class,
I've
which
had
wasn't
that
good.
in university.
Hmm.
And schools just need to rethink who they're hiring before they do it. I know they're desperate for teachers, but you're teaching the next generation. These kids are going to be looking after you when you're old. They need to be able to provide proper education and provide good experiences in the classroom for these kids instead of just
Hmm.
hiring whoever off the street, traumatizing everybody. We're just screwed for the next 30 years, like
Yep.
very disappointing.
I
Yeah.
think also like what was I gonna say? Like okay, I feel like science also needs to be just revamped. The all of like general science. I don't know much about chemistry or whatever because I didn't take it in high school because I was not good at science. But I had one pretty decent teacher in high school. She was the head of the science department. She was pretty good. But then I had my grade 10 science teacher, and he's very old school, like, and we didn't have access to the labs because they were under construction. But, anyways, it was very much like, this is old school. And it's just, you couldn't follow along. This was terrible. And this is what I find in science classes. They use like stuff from the 90s and 80s, like, you know, lab videos, and I'm like, dude, this is so outdated.
Yeah.
And it's just I don't know. It's the way they teach. It's just like, dude, you gotta like not necessarily dumb it down, but like just teach it better.
Mhm.
Because most bad teachers, you can just kind of tell like, why are you a teacher? You're not good at teaching.
Mhm.
and my science teacher in grade 10 was one of those teachers.
Yeah, I wasn't good at science either. I didn't take science after grade 10 because that's not mandatory here. So, but like, again, I just feel like it's just repeated every single year, especially in my French class. I was forced by my parents to take French throughout all of high school. I didn't learn anything. I speak less French now than I did when I entered. And it was the same stuff every year. Like, starting from, like, kindergarten, because I went to French school, I was practicing present tense, past tense, imperfect tense, like, all that. And then in grade 12, I was doing the exact same thing. All it was verb conjugation. I see why kids who only do core French don't learn French, because all it is verb conjugation, and maybe you read a French book and that's it. You don't learn that way. It needs to be more hands-on, and this goes for every class. They need to have more applied learning rather than read this and watch this video and then answer questions about it. No one is learning that way, and I know there is no kid or adult out there that remembers any of that kind of stuff that they did in school, you know, like watch a movie and answer questions about it. What do you learn from that? What is the goal?
Yeah, it's you again with like, you know, taking a class, like in your case French throughout the your high school. It like, and I noticed this in other class. It is literally just you're restarting things, and I think they think it's because like, oh, what if somebody starts this class in this semester and they weren't there last semester or whatever, like. But still, I think it's like, well, then maybe just don't open it for people who have, you know, never taken the class.
Yeah. And another thing, so I had to take religion in high school because I went to Catholic school. And every year we watched the movie Soul Surfer. And every teacher gave us the same worksheet to fill out about it afterwards. From grade 9 to grade 12, the exact same thing. What am I getting out of it? It's just such a waste of time. And I've watched Soul Surfer in elementary school too. I know the movie, okay? I get it. It's like super touching or whatever, but I don't need to watch it like 6 times to know that. Schools, huh?
Yeah, it's flawed.
Yeah.
I also feel like the way they handle like the tech department, so like anything that's like considered tech, so that's what, like auto and welding, all that stuff.
Yeah.
It's, you know, it's great, don't get me wrong, but I feel like we're not offering students any other choice as to what they want. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's not really much more room to grow, as in for job wise. Like, I know if you want to be some sort of doctor or something like that, you got to take chemistry and all the other sciences. But like, there's not really a more focused like course for other type of stuff. Like when I went to high school, we apparently had a nursing course, but they got rid of it as soon as we entered grade 9, so nobody could do that.
Yeah, I think it depends on your school and how many kids go there, because my high school had over 1,000 students, and we had almost every elective imaginable. So we actually had a healthcare class,
right,
which was great. And but yeah, we had all the trades.
I think it's also probably something to do with the old buildings that we're forced to use because they don't want to build new schools. Because our school is freaking ancient, and you know, of course, there's no AC.
Oof, no, that's rough.
Yeah,
I'm
and
glad I
I'm
went to a
sorry, but
new school.
a high school with no AC, with a bunch of sweaty teenagers, dude,
Mm-hmm.
like, recipe for disaster, man.
I know your sister's struggling with the same thing. Her
Yep.
school is ancient, but yeah, luckily my school was built in 2001. AC throughout the entire summer, heat in the winter. I was chilling.
Hmm.
But in elementary school, it was an older-ish school, no AC. So I
Yep.
remember um, having all these giant fans in all the
Yep.
classrooms and in the hallways.
Yep.
Yeah.
What's also BS is there. We asked them like, "Oh, why can't you put AC in every classroom?" And they're like, "Oh, because the building's old. It doesn't support AC." But then you go over to like the computer labs or the office wing, and every window has one. And I'm like, dude, that's BS, man. You just don't want to spend money on doing it.
No, they don't. But I get it because sometimes education budgets can be pretty tight.
Hundred
However,
percent.
I learned recently that in Ontario, they're investigating the school boards because apparently they have been overspending. Can you believe that?
Wow, I am not surprised.
Overspending, and yet there's still no
I
AC.
wonder what they're overspending on, though.
Yeah, I wonder.
Hmm.
That is a good question because I feel like they're spending nothing.
Exactly. I'm wondering if it could be going to the staff members. Who knows?
Yeah, paying staff too much. I mean, my mom's a teacher and I know they get paid too much, but whatever. I mean,
Yeah. Oh
just think
well.
if you're a teacher fresh out of college, you can start at $60,000 a year. That's more than the average person would start right out of college.
Mm-hmm.
And by the time you retire, you can make like $130,000 a year.
Yep.
And they only work 10 months. And
Oh
they
yeah,
get
that's a good
every
point. They only
weekend,
work.
every holiday, March break, Christmas break, Easter break, PA days.
Mm-hmm.
They work the least and make the most. But I mean, I
Yep.
have worked as a supply, and I know it is not easy work. So I'll give them that. Kids these days are wild.
Mm-hmm. You're damn right there.
Yeah, very wild. They have no respect for any of their teachers or any of the staff members, no respect for school property, no respect for each other. A lot of behavior issues.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad I'm done supply teaching.
But yeah, it's speaking of kids these days. I feel like an old person saying this, but like, dude, what is going on? Like,
Yeah.
I would consider us be like at least Gen Z, like the earlier half of Gen Z, being kind of normal. But everything after, like, I'd say 2005 is like, what the hell's going on?
No, I'd put it like I'd say 2006, 2007 because I'm just
Really?
thinking,
Okay.
well, I know it gets worse every year and
Yeah.
actually pretty much every teacher I know has said that my grade was the last good one because they say like
Hmm.
all the ones after this are just not as good and my when I was in grade 7, my teacher said, I'm going to teach you guys next year, and then after that, I'm going to grade 1. Because she did
Yeah.
not want to teach the next grade of kids in grade 8. Yeah. And I know in high school, my grade 9 year was like completely fine. Like, just a normal year. You know, you'd get the odd kid in the office, but honestly, like, I never really saw anyone acting out, no fights or
Right.
anything. But once I
Hmm.
got to grade 10, a teacher ended up going on a 2-year stress leave because like a class of his grade 9 students were bullying him, literally bullying
Hmm.
him. So he left, and that sucks because he was really nice, and apparently he's back now. as far as I know, my brothers are going to that school right now, but
Hmm.
and tons of teachers have retired early and just changed career paths over the past like 5 years. I know tons of teachers who were just like, I can't do it anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've had a few teachers like that too, where literally my class is just like bullying this teacher. I'm like, dude, it's not that deep, man. Why you
That's
have to
so
like? It's
mean.
just like, why would you? Why would you? Like, I don't know.
No respect. And
Yeah.
after that school year, after seeing the behavior, this was the 05s, I'm like, oh my gosh, we're screwed. And then it just got worse every single year. Literally every year of kids that came in, they just got worse.
Yeah.
And my brother, who's in 07, he's currently in grade 12. I look at those grade 12s and I'm like, we were not like that when we were 17, 18 years old. Why are they
Hmm.
acting like 12-year-olds?
Yeah.
And there's even like, you remember all of the like on Snapchat people would say like, ask me a question and that stuff. They're
Yeah.
still doing that in grade 12.
Right.
I stopped
In
doing
grade
that
12.
after like grade 9. Yeah, it's just,
Yeah.
you know, and oh my gosh, literally, when I was in grade 12, there was this grade 9 couple that decided to get married in the stairwell. That's something you do in kindergarten.
Not the not the stairwell.
What, like,
Oh boy.
they're getting so immature. And I'm glad
Hmm.
I got out when I did because that grade 9 year, I was like, okay, I don't even recognize these people as teenagers. They literally just act like kindergartners. And I'm sure it's just even worse now. And even when I
Hmm.
just look at high schoolers, I can't tell if they're in grade 5 or grade 10.
Oh jeez.
And I know you know what I mean. They look so young and they're so small.
Yep. They get shorter every year, I swear.
Yes, that too. And we always thought it was funny whenever it was like grade 8 day in high school. We'd always
Mhm.
laugh and say like, "Oh my gosh, they're even smaller." Like I
Yep.
swear there were some that were like just at my waist.
Mhm.
Oh, I'm glad I'm out of high school.
Mhm. Yeah, I feel you there.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes I miss it, but I realize I just miss the people. I
Right.
don't miss the school itself.
Yeah,
I
high
had
school was
some great
not like a
teachers.
fun.
No.
It wasn't like a fun time at all.
And I didn't have friends until the last 2 months of grade 12. So when I look back at high school, I just missed those 2 months, the last 2 months. The rest of it is a
Mhm.
blur. And also, COVID happened while I was in high school. So
Mhm.
it started when I was in grade 10, and we had our last lockdown in January when I was in grade 12. So luckily, I still got prom and grad. I was the first grade
Mhm.
to have that back since the lockdown. So I had a normal ending, but the majority of high school was just, you know, lockdown. It kind of
Yeah.
sucked. I wish I had a more normal experience, but I didn't
Mhm.
have friends anyways. And it was kind of nice to just stay home all the time.
Mhm.
Yeah, until I got a job.
But yeah, I don't know. There's so much. There's like so many flaws. Like it probably mostly comes down to just like funding and staffing when you think about it.
Mhm.
But sometimes it even comes down to the principal because at my high school we had a really bad.
Ah.
He just wasn't like and then of course there's the whole murder and all that. It
Oh
was just
yeah.
bad. Yeah, it was bad. he didn't handle it well. He had to resign for a little bit, and then he came back
Oh.
right as COVID was ending, or right as I was about to finish grade 12. Um, yeah, that was a mess at my high school, at least
Mm-hmm.
that part of it. I think we definitely need to just like overhaul, not everything, but overhaul a good chunk of high school.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I
And
had
even I
a
did elementary school as well. Some of it needs to get overhauled.
yeah. But I had a good principal in high school. He was there from grade 9 to 11, and then in grade 12 we got a new one, but he was only there for 1 month, and then he went on some sort of leave for the rest of the year. So
Right.
he didn't really exist.
Mm-hmm.
So it was the vice principal that kind of took over the principal role, but he was great. And I'm glad that I got to shake his hand at my grad instead of that new guy because I didn't know him. So,
Right.
worked out. Yeah. But the turnover rate for teachers is so bad because now, like, when my brothers are talking about their teachers, I don't even know who they are.
Mm-hmm.
There's like 5 teachers that are still there from when I was, but everyone else is new. Because they just keep leaving. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's too bad. I mean, teaching used to be an enjoyable job, but no one wants to do it anymore.
No, because when you look at it, it's like this doesn't look fun. This doesn't look enjoyable.
No, it's not. And it really does depend on the group of kids you get. Because there are some
Mm-hmm.
really good classes, and other classes, you just can't control them. You
Mm-hmm.
know, you're trying to teach something, and everyone's talking over you. It's just impossible.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how they do it. Again, glad I'm out of that whole system. Done teaching and
Yeah.
done being a student. Done. But yeah, I guess we can wrap it up.
Yeah, I'd say so.
All right, good talk.
Yes, it was good.
Yeah, so overall, we're pretty disappointed.
Mm-hmm.
Oh well, not our problem anymore.
No, it's not.
All right, well, thank you for tuning in this week, and we will see you in the next one.